Thanks, Dr. Ogden. Next is the good of the cause, where members of the public are invited to express themselves on school-related matters of concern to the residents of East Brunswick. To allow for a fair and orderly public comment period, comments are limited to 5 minutes, and to protect the privacy of all students and staff, are reminded this is a televised meeting and that you should first address your issues with the appropriate administrative staff. Anyone wish to address the board? All right, well, seeing no one, I will close the public portion. I will combine the remaining items on the agenda, and if you have anything to abstain from, when we do the roll call, you can just let us know what items you're abstaining from. So may I have a motion for the remaining items on the
So moved.
agenda?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Becker, second by Mrs. Shaw. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Chu.
I just have one question on the policy changes on 7510 use of school facilities. I didn't see anything in red line, so I was just wondering what the change was.
I'm sorry, it didn't show up as red. It should have been the addition of an administrative fee should a lessee decide to cancel or change the venue date. And then we changed some of the nomenclature, the report to the business administrator instead of the director of facilities, and took out the director of community affairs.
Okay. And paying in advance, was that always there?
It was.
Okay. All right, that was it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Becker.
Yes, except item under financial services, item number 2. I'm abstaining on purchase order number P1802520 and P1802520. Oh,
It's the same one.
same. Invoice, 2 different invoice numbers, 40237, 40336. Thank you.
Mrs. Chu.
Yes.
Mrs. Lax.
Yes.
Mrs. Reese.
Yes.
Mr. Seeler.
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw.
Yes.
President Simmons.
Yes, motion carries. Are there any committee organization reports? Good of the cause for the board. Why don't we start with our student rep? Anything going on at the high school?
Yes.
To know about.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all again. So at the high school right now, these sophomores are currently trying to figure out what clubs to join and be a part of, and the upperclassmen that are leading these clubs are advertising their club's events and opportunities. At the recent principal council meeting, where the club leaders of our school come together to discuss and collaborate, the National Honor Society announced that they will be hosting a Powder Puff football game and bonfire, which are some fun and interesting events that will help boost school spirit. At these principal council meetings, there's been a new emphasis on collaboration among clubs that is meant to help further our school projects. A recent example of this is the collaboration between clubs to host a drive for donations meant to assist the victims of the recent natural disasters, namely the victims of the hurricanes that have impacted Puerto Rico. We hope that as a community we can come together to help aid those in need. Overall, I've seen a new sense of collaboration within distinct areas of our school that I believe will be extremely beneficial in benefiting our student body and community as a whole. Thank you.
All right, welcome, thanks. Excellent. Mrs. Becker.
On Monday evening, the 25th, the curriculum committee met. I want to thank Dr. Valesky and all the subject supervisors for coming together and putting together a terrific agenda. Mrs. Shaw was there as well, and we learned about, speaking of collaboration, about the collaboration that goes on, not just between the subject supervisors, but between the supervisors, the administrators, and the teachers in developing curriculum. I don't know if parents realize how much say and involvement teachers have in developing the curriculum, in writing the curriculum, whether it's in workshops during the summer or during the year. So that was really great to hear about. We learned about they're trying to think about the whole field trip project, field trips across the district, in terms of looking at what we're doing, what we could be doing, in terms of bringing more traveling exhibits and companies into the schools. We also heard a couple of really good presentations about world language options and fourth grade, and we asked that the entire board be given a presentation about it, and about curriculum modification updates and student management tools. And we also asked that that also be delivered as a presentation to the full board, because I think everybody would love to hear about it, particularly the world language options that were talked about at elementary school, really exciting. So I just want to thank everybody who took part in that.
All right, Mrs. Shaw?
The policy committee met on September 18th. You have already read and voted on the policies that we reviewed. However, I will let you know that, as per usual, the committee labored over every word and comma and period and dotted every I and crossed our T's. And several of the policies that we took a look at are actually going to be under further review, and also perhaps our attorney might want to take a look at them as well. Yesterday afternoon, the Garden State Coalition of Schools met here in East Brunswick. We were scheduled to have Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno here to speak to us, and surprise, surprise, she had to cancel. Little conflict in her schedule somehow. But I had actually seen that the Lieutenant Governor was actually supposed to participate in a town hall type meeting at the Eagleton Institute, along with the Democratic candidate, and she pulled out of that one a few days ago. So I kind of figured, you know, if she isn't willing to go to New Brunswick or East Brunswick at 3:30, she's probably not going to come to our Garden State meeting either. But anyway, long story short, we had a wonderful gentleman fill in for the Lieutenant Governor. He is Assemblyman Robert Auth, who is from Bergen and Passaic. He is a member of the Education Committee, and we actually were really schooling this gentleman on what goes on with charter schools. We also had to provide some information regarding funding. He was still referring to the funding formula as being CFA. So anyway.
You left pretty impressed.
He was pretty impressed. And anyway, the really nice part about it, though, is that he was willing to listen. He's willing to, here's this word again, collaborate, all right, with our members. And he requested that we invite him back in 3 months, so long as he gets reelected. And hopefully he will have some draft legislation to share with us. So it certainly was not a wasted afternoon whatsoever, and I appreciated that he was able to come and speak with us.
All right, anyone else? Our closed session agenda is in your printed copy and available, of course, online. So may I have a motion to go into closed session for the reasons stated therein?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Mrs. Becker, second by Mrs. Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everyone.